hello, hi. I'm Jeslyn Juanillo, and I work at RAM TV. As I'm making this video, I have been an entertainment anchor for 2 years and a regular producer for 2 months. Yippee! But anyways, like all students, I graduated and was kicked out of the Janelle Center with a shiny little high school diploma, a little something. And I was given the illusion of 2 choices, work or college. And my mom told me she'd kick my butt if I chose work, so I went to college. But I also wanted to go to college, so joke's on her. Joke's on her. At the time, I had a pretty steady job at a undisclosed fast food chicken place. And all things to say, I had a pretty good system. I went to school, went to work, dealt with interesting people, but we don't talk about them, at least not in this video. So, at my last shift, I had asked for 2 weeks off, ironically, so I could figure things out. And so my first day of college was exciting. I think everyone is kind of very excited the first day of college. I originally signed up for a master's in psychology with a long-term debt for reaching a doctorate. And I had loved studying minds, and my other ambitions of drawing, writing, and working in movies were kind of unrealistic in my parents' and my family's eyes, and so when they infected in my mind. And I continued these, classes for a couple weeks until I remember one day my classes had finished early and I was waiting for my ride when suddenly I saw the Ramport listing jobs section. And nothing caught my eye. Assistant jobs, library assistant, and then, so on and so forth. And I scrolled just a little bit further and I saw news anchor, sports anchor, / sports anchor for mass media and communications. And I didn't really think too much of it. It was definitely a question of I could, I should, but would I? And so after opening it and closing the app and then opening it and then closing the app, I just eventually submitted a resume.
Yay!
I didn't really think too much of it. My job hunting experience had affected my confidence in the workforce because it was kind of like the problem of everyone is hiring, but no one is receiving a phone call. And I expected nothing, to be honest. I expected to just be left disappointed. But the next day, I had arrived at my grandma's house and I got a phone call. I think it was the next day or the day after that day. I was interviewing for the news anchor position, and I was really nervous. I was really scared. I didn't know any of these people. I remember how my now friend Moss telling me that my soon-to-be boss, Don, was busy, that he would be with me shortly.
Yeah.
Goodbye, Jess.
Goodbye, Don.
And so sitting there awkwardly before him and my other future, now old boss, Chad, came and they asked me to the office. And I got interviewed, quote unquote, which was basically me yapping about movies with Don and then Chad occasionally commenting and saying, I thought you hated that movie. And then Don said, I've never said I hated that movie. And little did I know that would be routine. I love you, Don. But I remember I got interviewed, which was honestly, if I had to describe it, 2 people yapping about movies. And then, maybe occasionally Chad would comment, but that lasted for, maybe half an hour. And I remember it was super fun. And, for the last 5 minutes, I remember they finally interviewed me. And I was finally given a little test, a little trial, if you want to say, where I had to read a paragraph. And they would be in my ear telling me, okay, sit straighter, sit back, scoot to the left, scoot to the right. Because they told me, and this was my first ever knowing about the news fact, that the news anchors would have this earpiece and that they would be told what to do while reading, the script on the teleprompter. So it would be live. And, they told me I aced it. I think I did pretty good for someone who was supposed to fail the test in their words, but I walked out pretty happy, and I remember, like, I think the 2 days later, I got a phone call saying that I needed to submit my schedule so that I can go ahead and start my shifts. And then from that day on, I loved it. I got to play with a few cameras and learn the importance of mics, talk to people, make friends, and it was awesome. I liked working. And it came to the point where I liked going to work better than going to my psychology class, more than learning about psychology, more than going to psychology labs, which was kind of crazy for my friends to see. The end of my first semester here at ASU, I switched majors and I became a mass media major instead of a psychology one. I was really excited, and from that day on, it has just been that much better. I loved coming to work, and I love learning about the things that I learn now, such as, camera work. I think as of posting this, our Spanish news packet or Spanish newscast, the first ever, is going to come out soon that I got to help with, and it's awesome to know that, something that was kind of out of reach as a teen or a kid is something that I can do, and something that, is needed in the world as, news. From this day on, I don't regret a single thing I did to end up here, and my life has been really great after this change. Make sure to check out our YouTube channel if you enjoyed it. We make awesome news packages and other creative videos, and you can find us in here. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day. XOXO.